Outcome profiles serve multiple purposes within the employee performance platform. Firstly, they help define an employee's role, providing clarity around what an individual's responsibilities are to the organization. Further, an outcome profile provides the basis for a review of measurable outcomes during the course of performance reviews. For the purposes of today's demo, we will cover the creation of an outcome profile. To see how this is linked to performance reviews, please see our performance review video. An outcome profile is made up of 3 layers: rocks, tactics, and measurable outcomes. Each role should have 3 rocks, each rock should have 3 tactics, and each tactic should have 3 measurable outcomes. Further, a role can also include some role characteristics which help to round out the profile. Today, we will walk through the creation of these items as well as the outcome profile report, which combines all of this information in a unified view. To begin, access the Employee Performance Platform and press on the EPP tile. Next, find the Roles item within the Organization menu. Once here, press on New Role in the top left and fill in the relevant details. For an example, we're going to create a role for a sales rep, and we're going to link that to the Sales and Marketing department, which we previously created. Lastly, we're going to say that this role reports to the Chief Operating Officer, which is another role that we've already created. Next, we will create and open this item and start building our outcome profile. We'll begin by creating our first rock, and we'll call this rock Make Sales. Seems pretty crucial to a sales rep, so we'll say that that is 60% of their role. Then we'll create and open this item, and then we'll move down the hierarchy as described before. Next, we'll create our first tactic to achieve this particular rock. So we'll say that this tactic is make sales calls, and we'll create and open that item. Lastly, we're going to create a measurable outcome to link to this particular tactic, and this is where it becomes tangible. So real outcomes for achieving the particular tactic that we've just outlined. So we might say that a measurable outcome is to make 50 cold calls. It's measurable. So what we can do is we can link a unit of measurement. So we'll find the one that best suits our particular outcome. And if we needed to add a new one, we can do that here as well. But for this particular metric, we can use a total number since it is 50 cold calls that we are after. Next, we'll add an amber target and a green target. So for amber, we haven't quite reached the goal, but we almost got there. So I might say that 40 cold calls is close. So it'll be amber. Whereas 50 will be the green target because we actually achieved our goal. Lastly, we just need to nominate the desirable scoring where the high or low is preferable. So in this case, a high score is preferable because the more calls, the better. But if you had a metric like injuries on site, a low number might actually be better. So we're going to nominate that high is the correct direction. Lastly, we'll create this, and then we'll move back through the breadcrumb all the way to the role. And now we can press on this outcome profile tab right here, which will show a report unifying all of that data that we just created. So here we can see that we've got a breakdown of the role, and currently make sales is 100% of that role. And then breaking down the responsibilities, we can see that make sales call is the first tactic, with make 50 cold calls as the measurable outcome within there. Next, we can also look at the direct reports of this particular role. There are none at this point because this is a new role. And we can look at the profile characteristics, of which you'll notice that there aren't any either. So really quickly, we can go back to the details tab here, and we can add a profile characteristic. So we can say outgoing personality. Whew, that is some awful spelling. So bad that not even autocorrect can pick it up. That is a record. Outgoing. And we'll create that. And if we move back to the outcome profile report, we should now see that that profile characteristic is sitting against this particular role. And there we go. From this point, you should ensure that you have 3 rocks, and within each rock, 3 tactics, and within each tactic, 3 measurable outcomes. At that point, you will have completed your first outcome profile. Now, if you'd like to see how these outcome profiles are used within the context of a performance review, see our performance review video. We'll see you then.